Sitting sweaty calves coming at you with yet another video, and in this one I'll be covering something that the Avatar 2 director James Cameron has recently stated, which just explains how stupid everyone in Hollywood is, and especially this guy, and one of the many reasons why it is that I'm not interested in the Avatar 2 movie, because, let's be honest, it doesn't need to exist. James Cameron, Avatar director, calls testosterone a toxin. Here's the response. Alright. Testosterone trended on Twitter on Sunday, and that's not because the hormone had somehow paid an $8 to Twitter and Elon Musk to get a blue checkmark verified account. Alright, hold on. Right off the bat, there's something to talk about. It's not even directly related to this. These people in the mainstream media are still salty over the fact that Elon Musk essentially made it a equal playing field for people who wanted to get blue check marks. People in the mainstream media are still freaking out over this. It's so funny. They're like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness gracious, one of the many things, one of the many social media platforms that we used to have total control over is no longer under our total control. What are we going to do? Now you can pay $8 to be verified instead of just being a shill? Oh! It's just hilarious. It's hilarious. It's right off the bat. They're so salty over that. Okay, let's get back into the actual article now. No, that didn't happen. Instead, the trend of this word was probably due to what director James Cameron had told Rebecca Keegan. Rebecca Keegan in an interview for The Hollywood Reporter. There he had described himself as previously a wild, testosterone-poisoned young man. Well, that just tells you even more about why it is that you shouldn't give a crap about what this guy says. And labeled testosterone as a toxin that you have to slowly work out of your system. Those statements seemed to rile up the testosterone of those who are apparently hardcore fans of the hormone, leading to some "I'm an alpha manly man, and this is a war on men" response, that they have been a bit over the top. Regardless, Cameron's statements did seem to display a fundamental misunderstanding of the biology of the hormone and what it does. Alright, so Forbes decides they're going to get on the case of people who are not big fans of misappropriating the actual use of what testosterone does. For those of you who don't know, testosterone is a very simple hormone that essentially makes a man a man. You know, men have a healthy supply of testosterone flowing through them, and women do have some testosterone, though it's very minimal. Same way with women having estrogen, it's the main hormone that makes them more feminine. The main hormone that makes men more masculine is testosterone. And what James Cameron is essentially saying here is that the more testosterone a man has, the more toxic he is. That's toxic masculinity. This coming from a guy who's done crazy things before in the past, like walk off of being a freaking truck driver into being a director of a movie. Just randomly becoming a director of a movie just because he wanted to. And then on top of that, this man has also had debates and cursing matches with people in the mainstream Hollywood industry. At one point in time, this man was pretty much as masculine as you could be. He's directly responsible for stopping Guillermo del Toro's there's no hope for me to say that name. Guillermo del Toro, I think. I'm terrible with names. He stopped his dad from being kidnapped and held hostage for a significant portion of time because he went into his own bank account, took out the money, and then made the swap. I heard a rumor about him actually beating up Harvey Weinstein but I don't know if that's actually true. Not to mention, he's the one who directed the Terminator franchise, Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. And on top of that, he's directed the Aliens movies. Alien and Aliens. So this guy is no stranger to making testosterone-filled stories, and is no stranger to making really, really awesome franchises out of that testosterone-centered storyline. But apparently, he thinks that all the money that he's ever made is not worth it. He also thinks that testosterone is a poison. A poison. Now, he's maybe not saying that it's actually a poison that's going to slowly kill you, and I can understand someone saying that, because technically oxygen is a poison too at that point. Because, yeah, you're going to die in 70 or 80 years and you still breathe oxygen the same. Talking about it as a joke, obviously. Technically, life is a poison because we all die. Does that mean that James Cameron's just going to kill himself so he's not poisoned by life anymore? I don't know. There's stupid things like this that you can think about, that you can kind of chase your tail around in circles continuously and never go anywhere with. And James Cameron making this assessment that testosterone is a toxin that needs to be cut out is ridiculous. It really is. It just shows his totally cucked nature. Since the success of those previously mentioned testosterone-filled movie franchises, James Cameron has continuously made worse and worse stories, not fully understanding what it is that made his stories so successful in the first place, and just doing less and less interesting things with those stories and concepts. And I'm not going to say I'm even a James Cameron fan. I like the Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 movies. For myself, I've never actually watched the Alien franchise. I haven't, because I heard not many good things about it. I don't care about the Titanic. I don't care about many other James Cameron movies. I don't really care about this guy or his franchises. There's nothing to him that really makes me think, oh yeah, this guy's really, really good. And Avatar, the Avatar Blue People movie was literally just a condemnation of American colonialism, when they would come over and you know, set up new lands. It was trying to make it seem as though any sort of colonialization is terrible or something along those lines, and it was painfully obvious what it was. Painfully obvious. And it was a really boring, terribly done movie that just had nothing to do with anything interesting, and they even had such a stupid name for metal. They literally called a metal in that film unobtainium, which is just retarded. I'm sorry, it's just retarded. There's no reason to call your special, impossible to find metal unobtainium. That's just stupid. That's stupid. Come up with something interesting. Alright, I'm going to get off that subject. But James Cameron recently coming out and saying testosterone is a toxin just proves to me another reason why it is that the Avatar 2 movie isn't going to be good. It's not going to be good. It's going to be a trash film. First of all, no one asked for an actual sequel to this movie. Second of all, the only reason why the first movie was so successful is because it had relatively decent CGI in the year 2009, when you were still getting relatively crappy CGI from previous films. And even then, the Iron Man franchise had just begun the MCU in 2008, and that CGI in that movie was pretty much on par with Avatar. But it was the fact that the Avatar movie was like 90% CGI and 90% fake sets and fake garbage that's just been replicated over and over again at this point, and everything's been spewed out as nothing but crappy CGI. There's no direct pull for why it is that the Avatar needs a sequel. The Avatar movie was popular because it had a relatively interesting, groundbreaking visual effects. Whereas the new movie is just going to do that again, I guess. There's nothing to it. Unless they can come up with an amazing story that is perfectly well done, and the actors are able to really bring it home as their mo-capped blue people, then you're not going to get the money back that you want. And James Cameron, I'm sorry, buddy, but low T levels, that's not good for men. Like James Cameron saying this, just stupidity. He's either being put up to it because he's been indoctrinated into the Hollywood ideology, or he's genuinely just gone insane. But anyone who looks at the actual science and chemistry of how men and women work knows that testosterone is actually a very, very positive thing in men. It's actually very, very healthy for men. Okay? And taking away that healthy hormone that is necessary for men to operate as men gives you weak, feminized, emasculated men who can't do a daggum thing when something calls for it. Honestly, you look at James Cameron, I can believe that he doesn't want testosterone in his system anymore. He already looks femmy enough. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, comment down below your thoughts, share this video out there with your friends, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon so you won't miss a single video I upload, and make sure to check me out on Rumble, Patreon, and Twitter. I leave links to those in the description below. I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of the week.